Hey, this is Kita Bussey with 180 Firearms Training. In USPSA, oftentimes we have to start standing outside the fault lines. Not in IPSC, but in USPSA we do. So I know there's a lot of debate about the best way to do that. I will share with you what works for a lot of people. If you have a better way, that's awesome. So move over so you can see me. Let's say I have to start outside the fault lines like this. How many of you would step in like this? When you step in, you have to leave a space for this foot to be set down. Now the problem with stepping in like this is it's very hard to set this foot down gently, and then you have to wait to shoot, and this one could also be set down a little rough, and both of those things would jar your sights. In order to be able to shoot sooner, what I found is you can actually step in by crossing over, and then you know you have enough space for the other foot. Or let's say I didn't step far enough with this foot first, and then I'm stuck with my feet really close together in an unstable base, or maybe it lands on the fault line, maybe I have a foot fault. There are a lot of things that can go wrong with stepping in with that foot first. So instead, what I like is crossing over, and then you know you have enough room for that other foot. It's a lot easier to set it down gently, and if the targets are easy enough, you can actually already start shooting right here before that foot even makes contact, because you're already stable enough as long as you're down low enough and the target is easy enough and your skill level is there. So what if you have to start with two toes touching the outside of the box? If there are two marks on this box and it says toes touching, this is toes touching, right? Also, this is toes touching. Also, this is toes touching. Now let's define outside of the box. Imagine you're shooting a stage and you have a foot on the fault line, toe makes contact on the ground. They say you have a foot fault because you're outside the fault lines. This is 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 outside the fault lines. You can't shoot and hit a target without a penalty from this position. So you can start like this if it doesn't specify both feet outside the fault lines. If it says both feet outside the fault lines, toes touching, you can stand like this, or you can stand like this. So if my first target is taken from right here, then I'm gonna start like this with my toes on the marks, and then I will step in with this foot first, knowing I have plenty of room for the other foot, knowing this foot is all the way across the fault line. And then I can start shooting as this foot is coming down into contact with the ground. That's one option. There are a lot of different ways to do this. So typically I would cross over to step into a shooting position from the outside. If you're not comfortable with that, that's cool. Just do what works best for you. This is what works for me and works for a lot of other people. If you're not sure, give it a try, see what you think.